There we go. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Come on, baby. Give me. Come to daddy. All right, never mind. We'll do that later. Anyway, gun is unloaded. I'll do this just to catch that. When you shoot a Glock, never mind. I'm not even gonna get into all this. You just know what it is. Trying to take this hole apart though. Come on. Why you like this? Anyway, so yes, that's why I hold my gun like that. I hold it like this with my finger in the well. I don't do this shit. I mean, you could do that if you feel like you want to be safe. I don't really. I'm safe like this. Don't worry about it. I'm not pulling my Glock unless I'm shooting to killing something anyway. So it don't matter. Hollow points, home defense situations, you know. That's really it. You know what I'm saying? GLOC. Okay. So there you go. Wait, what is it? What'd you say, dude? That's not how I normally do it. Normally I do it. Normally I don't take my guns apart because you don't need to. Like, you need to clean your guns. I'm not cleaning shit. But clean it for you, boy. You sucker. There you go. There we go. Bam. That was way too difficult. Right? This is the upper. This is the lower. Look at all those. Nothing in there. Your other safety is back in here somewhere. It's like a drop safety. So just in case you drop the gun, it doesn't go off automatically. This is your firing. Where's your firing pin? Yeah, it's right there. That's your firing pin right there. You know what I'm saying? That's what hits the back of the bullets to make them shits go bang, 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 bang. Seagull Street gang. All these little mechanisms. This is your little spring. And this is the barrel. It's the barrel right there, nothing in there. Again, your upper. Do they call this receiver in the handgun world? Probably. There's your sights right there. My sights are glow in the dark. And when you shoot a Glock, what you want to do is you want to put the drop in the bucket, as they say. You want it to look like that. That's your sight picture right there with an old Glock. This front sight up here is what you want to focus on. You don't want to focus on your target. Your target can be blurry or out there or whatever. What you want to focus on is making sure that this front sight, is in between your rear sights like that. This is called windage. You want to make sure that your windage is right in the center. And at your elevation, that's called elevation. See how you can't see it? Because it's elevated. Or it's de-elevated. You want your sight picture with a Glock to look like that. Drop in the bucket. Okay? And that's it. bad. There we go. Yeah, it's empty. See that? It's the lower. What you do is you just strap this baby. Oh, clean some of that dirt off. And there you go. Trigger release. Your gun apart. You should always check it. Make sure that it cycles through. Right. Make sure that still works and is aligned, which it is, baby. And always cycle through around just to make sure. Death now. If I pull the trigger now you die. Now you see my fingers are way the fuck over here. But I only do that to make sure that it cycles around. And it does. That's all you need. Like, Lupe, that's unsafe. I know. For you. Come on. Get. That's my thing. There we go. And that's that. Unload your magazine every once in a while. Give the magazine spring a break. That's not true. People think that that's the truth. That's not true. Like, because you depress the spring, is gonna bend like that. You'd have to keep that shit in there for years for that to happen. That's not gonna happen for months. So you don't have to worry about constantly unloading and reloading your springs. You'll actually probably fucking damage the shit even more, constantly unloading and reloading it. So that's not necessarily true. That's a myth. I personally have a Glock 17 9mm with I think it's a 6R laser setup on there, with night sights. I think they're called Rincon night sights, or True Dot night sights, so they glow in the dark. Yeah, that's my setup. I don't really need too much else. Maybe a flashlight would be nice, but you can hold a flashlight like this. But other than that, that's the P. And these are really good because they, like for me anyway, it's good size for my hand, but they're super stable, right? And you could throw this shit up against a wall and it'll still fire, you know? Like, it's just super reliable. The only issue with Glocks is that they don't have safeties. They got an internal safety, a drop safety, and a trigger safety, but they don't have like a regular safety. Like, you can't, if you chamber this gun and there's a bullet in the chamber and that trigger is extended, is gonna fire. There's nothing you can do to keep it from firing, right? There's no second, third, or thing to keep it goes off. So that's why you shouldn't play with Glocks at all, because they aren't as inherently safe as something that's not a Glock. But at the same time too, it teaches you a certain level of discipline, which I enjoy. But for what they give you, for me in trade-offs, I got a bunch of guns, so that's just my favorite. All right, questions, comments, concerns. That's why you went with a Ruger, not a Glock. Ashley Jones out here strapped, running around here with a Ruger. What do I got? I got a Ruger. I got a 22 Ruger. I think I got two Rugers, but they're 22s for like hunting and stuff like that. Or target shooting, If you just want to go out and shoot all day and not have your eardrums blown out or spend $30 a box on ammunition. Get you a box of LR-22, get you a nice little Ruger. You can go out there and shoot all day. What up, Rita Lee? Shout out to Rita Lee. AR AK-47. So shout to you, Lloyd. Just letting you know. That's how. We always talk about trigger control and do this and do that. This ain't. I've already graduated gun school. Like that's for that. That's because the instructor's afraid that one of you niggas is gonna fucking kill him. Like you don't want to see fingers in the trigger rail unless you're aimed down range and shit like that. And what I actually did mess up on, is that I took the when I came out of my draw, I took the gun up here and then took it down here, which is stupid. What I should have did, which would be proper, would be to do, you come straight from draw, whether you're drawing from the hip or from the back or even from the, why it would be in the front, but if you're drawing from the front, whatever, or from the chest, you might have your shit up here or like this, or like this. What I should have did is when I drew, straight into that, and I don't have to be too keen on getting my windage and my elevation correct and having the drop in the bucket, my front sight directly in between my rear sights, is because a laser is an assist, and my laser is adjusted so that it hits right at my front sight. You can kind of see it right there. See how it's on my finger? The reflections on my finger, just like that. That's my front sight. See, so to a degree, but it's whatever I put this dot on is what my front sight's at least out to the dependable range of this weapon. So like maybe 10 feet, maybe 20 feet, maybe 30 feet, maybe with a little bit of decay. But even with that said, so I'm not too really worried about coming out and getting right in on my front sights, because my laser assist is gonna, whatever is hitting is at least in the general vicinity. But what I should have did was, instead of coming here, which is dangerous as fuck because you can shoot yourself in the head, or you can have discharge and it'll blow your fucking eardrums out. What you should have did was, when you came out, you should have came back to here. And you should be here. Now in this position, I'm resting the front on that little grip thing right here, which is what it's for, so you can hold it like that. It's a little bit tricky because the laser's right there. Normally the laser wouldn't be right here. Well, I mean, that's just the position of the laser, so you got to kind of frequent. But what I should have did was this, and came back to the chest. Instead of coming here, anywhere near your head or doing stupid shit like that, you should have came here to the chest. Still pointed away from the body so you don't shoot yourself in the leg or no shit like that. But it's easier to go from here, from the chest out to wherever you need to be, right? As long as you're facing that way, you can easily get to all these different points, as opposed to trying to do this movie shit, like turn the corner and do that shit. Like you would turn the corner and hit it with that. So anyway, that was the one thing I just kind of wanted to do, to show you guys. It's not loaded. Again, for some people, they'll define loaded as that there's a magazine in the gun. The other side of that piece is there's people who define loaded as a gun ready to fire, right? Or chambered. I take that equation, that a gun is loaded when there's something in the chamber. That's just how I do it. Everything else is just, I've been around guns so long, you never drop your guard. But at a certain point, once you've been around weapons so long, having a magazine in the gun and you know it's not chambered, and I constantly test. So I'll probably test like 2-3 times. Every time I pick my gun up, every time the gun is out of my sight. You can't trust your own mind. You can't trust yourself when you're sleeping. You never know. Every time the gun's out of your sight, you treat it as if it's chambered. So you take out the magazine, you cock it, right? You rack it, make sure there's nothing in the chamber. You do it 3-4 times, right? And once you're active, like consciously sure that there's nothing in that chamber, then you leave your magazine, you keep it moving. There's people who walk around with their shit chambered, and I don't, walking around with a Glock chambered is like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. Unless we in some war zone shit or some shit like that, or I practice myself to rack very quickly from draw if I feel a certain way. But I'm not walking around with a chambered fucking Glock with that fucking trigger sticking out like that. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. So, but there's people who do. I tend not to do that. I think there's enough time and situational awareness that if you needed to be in a situation where your weapon was chambered, then you're either dropped into some war zone shit, you're coming into some shit, you've heard some shit, something, and you're already ready. But for some people, they feel like, oh, if they wake up in the middle of the night, I'm going to hear something. I just want to grab my gun and just go for it and shit like that. And if it's not chambered, I'll da-da-da-da-da. And I mean, it might be true in certain situations, somebody running up on you. But, for the most part, you have different things in your home that should alert you to somebody illegally or uninvitedly entering your place, like an alarm or some type of camera system or some type of noise booby trap or a dog or something that's going to be constantly alert and aware of the situation, whether it be something that's mechanical or something that's organic, and you let that be what wakes you up and gets you to your weapon and chamber, or get something with a safety, or something with double action like a revolver, or even a because then you can just pull the trigger. And it's quite safe, especially if the trigger pull is really, really heavy. So if you got some lightweight hair trigger shit, then yeah. But anyway, it's just K said I. What I want to do? Oh yeah, shout out to TDK. Make sure you go check out Two Depressed Kids. Act we just signed over at First 15th. Shout out to Katie, one of Katie's artists that she put together. Make sure you go check them out. They got a new song called Checks. It's out right now. So make sure y'all go get that. You know what I'm saying? 1st and 15th. Family is growing. So make sure you check out Two Depressed Kids. Took me as a revolver guy. I got every kind of weapon. So I got revolver. I got everything. Somebody asked about AK versus AR-15. I got all of them. I prefer the AK-47 simply because it's a larger round. It's a more reliable weapons platform. It is, to me, way more. How can I put this to make it make sense? To me, it feels like a weapon for war. It doesn't feel like some backyard bullshit. And I think that may be because of the round. Because the AR-15 is basically a 22. It's a 22. A AK is getting closer towards a 308. It's not a 308, but it's getting closer to that type of round. And I like the history of it. I just like the platform better than I like the AR-15. Now, AR-15, you can do more shit to it. It's more, but it's also more fragile. A lot of maintenance required, And at the end of the day, it's a 22. It's kind of like you could shoot a 22 long rifle and shoot an AR-15. The size of the hole is going to be the same, right? It's going to be a different ballistics, different impact, but different force, but at the end of the day, it's a 22. Size of the hole's gonna be a 22. So I prefer AK-47s. I like the way they look better. I like the story behind them better. They're loud. I like the simplicity of the design. I just like them better. But there's more you can do with ARs. Like you can put mad shit on it. That's, to me, the accessorization of the AR. The AR platform, M4 platform, whatever, has its goals. But you can sniper with both of them, and that's really what I do. I like snipering. So you can sniper with anything, but in terms of a sniper platform, I like the Dragunov platform. It's a little bit harder to understand than the AR or AR platform, but I actually shoot M1s. I prefer, if you had to give me anything, and you only had one thing to give me, I would take an M1 over anything. If it was anything, like this is the only gun you get, is pick, I would get an M1. Springfield Armory, M1A1. Because like a sniper, I could use it as a battle rifle. I'd probably get a carbine though, so I can use it the same way that you would use a AK or an AR in a kind of a battle weapon situation, 200-300 yards. Then I could also turn around and use it as a long range sniper. It has the reliability and the simplicity of a AK,